for so long, and so it's so cool to like see you here and in person. It's like, oh my gosh, she's real.
It's me. I'm real.
Yes, but you know, one of the things that I wanted to ask you, so something that I personally struggle with as a black girl in media is, trying to decide, well, do I build my like media business, or do I build like what I'm trying to do as my passion versus doing like maybe a more traditional business, like trying to do real estate or like the vending machines like you mentioned.
Yes.
And so what kind of advice do you have for someone that is in the media space that understands that you have to build that wealth maybe in other ways, but it's not necessarily your passion?
Yeah, no, I definitely get it. I think the best thing that you can do is pursue your passion, but make sure you have profit to fund it, right? And so passion and profit don't necessarily have to be the same thing. So you can make money in something you're not necessarily passionate about, but then use that to pursue your passion, right? So a vending machine, an Airbnb, real estate, even putting some cars on Turo isn't the sexiest business, right? But it's going to make you money that can then help you to fund your passion. And once your passion starts to generate income on its own, now you've just still got extra money coming in, But I think that's the best way that you can balance it, because it's true, starting in media, it's a little slow, right? In terms of starting to see profit, and you don't want to lose motivation from pursuing what you care so much about. So the best thing you can do is create other streams to fund it, even if they are just giving you a couple $1,000s a month. That can help you stay on your feet so you can stay focused on what you really want to do.
That is such a great point. And then again, so as someone in media, right now I'm kind of freelancing, and so I'm doing different gigs here, different gigs there. And so I really want to know, like, when is the time to create an LLC for this? When is the time to, okay, my camera equipment, me getting my hair done, my makeup done, I can be writing this off. How do you know when you kind of reach that threshold to, okay, I need to really start maybe turning this into an LLC like I mentioned?
That's such a good question, and the moment that you decide to start getting paid for what you do, you need to form a business entity, because having an LLC is not only good for getting the tax write-offs, but it's also good for protection, right? It's making sure that if anything were to happen, nobody can come after your personal assets. It's also making sure that you're able to get things like business insurance and build business credit, so that when you are paying for your hair, paying for flights, going to events, you can instead be using other people's money, business credit, to fund some of that. And it's also really going to help you better negotiate for grants. It's going to help you apply for business funding. The longer we continue to operate as just an individual or sole proprietor, we can't step outside of that world. But when you form that LLC, immediately, now you've gotten doors open to getting a business loan, to getting a grant, to going in front of investors. And it really is the best way to secure yourself and also show the world that you have a real business.
Oh my gosh, that is such a great point. And then last thing, I mean, you have built such an amazing brand, just such an amazing life for yourself. What would you say to someone who's like watching you as your platform, want to start creating that wealth? What do you really want your followers to know?
I think what I really want them to know mostly is step out of that place of fear and just go, I think we tend to keep ourselves held back because we're afraid, what if no one likes my content? What if no one accepts me? And I was afraid of that as well, but I chose to be more afraid of staying in the same place, right? When I looked at my kids living in my mom's house in one room, looking at my EBT card, that was scarier to me than seeing if someone just wasn't going to accept me or not, wasn't going to like my content. So I would say the best thing anyone who wants to start this business and create this life, you should be creating content every single day. People need to be able to go to your page and see what you're about, how you can help them, what you can educate them on, what you're passionate about. That's how you can really start to build a community. And then from there, once you have that, they'll be able to follow you anywhere. So go after it. Don't be afraid, right? Do it. The only thing holding you back from that next level in life is just yourself, truly.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. First of all, you did absolutely amazing on the panel. So it was inspiring, honestly.
Wow.
It really was. So just tell me a little bit about your book, and what do you want your followers to know about it?
Yeah, so my book is about mastering your money mindset. So it's all about your personal relationship with money. I feel like when we think about money, we're thinking about the numbers, right? We're thinking about spending or saving, but it's really about how you're operating with the money. It's really about that relationship. And so once you go through the personal relationship that you have with money and you really get into that, then when you get to the numbers, it all makes sense. So my book ask yourself those deep questions. You know, how did your parents operate with money? What was the discussions around that? How did and how is that bleeding into how you operate with money today? And what are your triggers around money? And how are you going to create healthy boundaries around those triggers? So that's what it's about.
And I feel like that is such a good starting point, because like I know even for me personally, like if I don't necessarily understand like why I am the way that I am when it comes to money and how I look at it, how I spend it, then it's hard for me to think about, you know, like building wealth, because I might say one day, oh, I want to save $2,000, but then when I see Fashion Nova come out with something cute, oh, I'm gonna go buy that, I'll make the money back real quick, you know what I'm saying? And so one of the things that you talked about on the panel is just really changing that mindset that a lot of us have in the Black community about always having to have the newest, always having to have the designer, the Gucci. So like what are some of the steps that you took to change your mindset towards that?
I got tired of being broke. Honestly, I mean, you have to come to a point to where you're like, is what I'm currently doing working for me? And is the 70 or 80-year-old version of me going to be able to sustain off of what I'm doing now? When most people ask themselves that question, the answer is no. And so that's how you can start changing the mindset. It's not to say you can't have the Gucci. It's to say, all right, well, how is this going to be financially responsible? So maybe instead of outright buying the Gucci belt, I'll split it and I'll say, half of this is going to go to savings, and then when I'm able to do that again, then now I have the whole amount that I need to go buy the Gucci belt or whatever, the Fendi or whatever.
Obviously, we are here at the Black Girls in Media Conference.
Yes.
Just tell me a little bit about why was it important for you to be here today and talk on the panel?
I'm all about representation. Like for me, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, man, my daughters would love this. Just to see these beautiful Black women in media that are doing it, and they're just, this was phenomenal. So to be on the panel was just another step, because I'm all about being able to impact other people. And so when I saw the opportunity, actually, I slid in her DMs. I was like, hey, sis. And she was so open to having me speak, and I'm grateful that I did, because I really feel like some of those women, they really received the message.
Oh yeah. Look, I can tell you that I did for sure. Absolutely. That's why I wanted to come snag you in here while everybody was at lunch and have this conversation with you.